You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Albert and Jonesy in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cantina Cast. My name is Albert Padilla, and welcome to this bonus episode, today of all days, on May the 4th, where tonight we're going to be breaking down the latest Kenobi trailer, which premiered earlier this morning and has been all the rage across all social media platforms and anywhere else you can possibly look. It is and let me be the first to say, May the 4th be with all of you today on Happy Star Wars Day as well. But tonight is solely going to be based a show based on covering the most well-known, infamous recluse ever in the Star Wars galaxy. And speaking of recluses,
R2-D2?
I'm talking about you. No, it's Kenobi and you. Those are the two comparisons here. The juxtaposition is you and Kenobi. You guys have the same beard. You're both in a cave. Both recluse.
Growing the hair out a little bit.
Growing the hair out. Yeah. So you got it almost going on. Is that what you're are you gonna do cosplay here at Celebration? You've been keeping that a secret from me? I wonder now.
No, although some people have said I should do Cobb Vanth too if I cut my hair and go back to what I had.
That. Yeah, put a lot of that Tatooine hair product that seems to hold up really well in the sun.
Right. Sand.
So
that's great. Yeah. No, man. Merry May the 4th. Happy May the 4th. Happy Star Wars Day. Merry Star Wars Day. I've heard it called a dozen different things today. So
yeah.
But pretty exciting day though. And of all things, we get the trailer on this special day, so that's fantastic. Who could ask for anything better?
Exactly. And we were originally going to be doing our show on the Inquisitors. And we had pushed...
This is one of these shows that may never come out at this point.
We pushed it off. There was a show like that, I think, a couple years ago that was the same way. Things just kept happening. We kept having to kick it down the road a little bit. But this was originally going to be the Inquisitors show. And we thought, you know what? It's Tuesday. Tomorrow's May the 4th. We technically didn't have anything scheduled or planned. We had no kind of indication that this trailer was going to drop, although we knew we've been talking about it was imminent before, it was just a matter of time. Right. And I thought, you know what, let's just move it to Wednesday. We'll have plenty of to talk about because of May the 4th and all the, the links of stuff that you can buy and celebrations and stuff. And this, I think around 2 a.m. our time, I just happened to be up. There was a posting from StarWars.com saying that the Kenobi trailer was going to be released. And so in all caps, I immediately texted Jonesy, who was sound asleep counting Tatooine sheep somewhere, and I said, "Look, we gotta. It's the trailer's out today, and so we decided to pull an audible again. So unfortunately, long story short, we had to kick the Inquisitor show out to tomorrow, but we get to talk about Kenobi tonight, which is pretty exciting.
That's right. We get 2 Kenobi-esque shows in a row. Who can argue with that?
Yeah, who can be mad at that?
Right. But hey, before we get into it, though, we should do just a teeny tiny bit of news since it is May the 4th. These are all either May the 4th or Obi-Wan connected. So you want to take the first one?
Yeah, sure. So as some of you guys know, last year we were very fortunate and blessed to be a part of May the 4th Be With Y'all, which is an Austin-based charity event that happens every year on May 4th, where people dress up in Star Wars gear and do shows and all that. And all of that money that gets donated goes into a charity for the Ronald McDonald House. And I just want to plug them tonight. We were supposed to be there to help out. And unfortunately, Jonesy and I couldn't do it after last minute schedule changes. And then this came out. So if you visit at May the 4th Be With Y'all on Instagram and Facebook, you guys can go there. It is a very noble cause and something near dear to our hearts because those are our friends and they do a good job every single year. So if you get a chance, please go out there. You can still make donations and you can still buy some of the shirts. And I won't spoil the shirts, but they're pretty incredible this year. Last year was pretty awesome because I think we had the Din Djarin.
Mandalorian and Grogu.
And Grogu, yeah. And it was styled to say May the 4th, but wonderful art. And they've done something very similar again. So I'll just leave it at that. You guys can go out there and take a look at those shirts.
I got a little behind the scenes of the guy who drew it, autographing some of the posters. Yeah,
nice.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, awesome. They put on an awesome show anyway. It's just so much fun. The people they have just have charisma coming out of every place you can imagine. And like you said, the cool thing about Austin is they are so supportive of the arts. And this is very much kind of an arts type of project. And these folks come from all walks of life. And that they're doing this for the community. It's very 501st kind of feeling to it all. And so it's really cool what they do. And so certainly if you'd like to go out there and check out what they're doing, we certainly encourage y'all to do that.
Yep. At May the 4th be with you. Okay. We've got a bit of
a couple of our own plugs here real fast. So we have the Q&A coming up. We want to do that next week on the 10th, I believe. So cantinacast.com/question will get you over to our little form. We've had a handful already put in, and they're looking like they're shaping up to be a pretty good show. And so we're super excited about that. So cantinacast.com/question to get your Q&A in. Again, it could be anything Star Wars related. Imagine there's going to be a lot with Kenobi and the little bits and pieces we're going to see here, and who knows what we'll get here in the next not quite a week. So go and get your questions in. Those are always a really fun and entertaining show for us, at least. Hopefully for y'all too. And then if you are going to Celebration, we are going to host a meetup on Friday the 27th at 7 p.m. over at Unsung Brewing Company. And a handful of us are going to be there. Albert, Steph, John, Twan, and we've had a couple others sign up. So that's really awesome. Let us know you're going to be there, cantinacast.com/RSVP. And that way we just have an idea of head count. We can confirm that with the location there a week or two out, just to make sure we got a good head count. We've already got a space reserved and all that good stuff. And as a reminder, if you're not a beer drinker, that's cool too. Well, you don't have to drink anything. That's totally fine too. But there's wine. I believe there's a barbecue place next door or something like that. So it's a cool little square area that's going to be there. So certainly would love to see you out there. At least come by and say hello. We know there's a lot of activities going on, but it'd be great to see everyone. So cantinacast.com/RSVP for the Celebration event.
Yeah, and I would say anybody that whoever gets the 5 beers first gets to go one-on-one with me in Star Wars trivia. So you got that to look forward to. What else have we got? Okay,
so Star Wars Day, May the 4th news. Gosh, if you guys are on social media, you've just been inundated with it all day. But basically, just go check out StarWars.com. They've got a huge list of all the merch stuff, plus a downloadable PDF of it. So just go out to StarWars.com. You're going to find it. It's in the news area. There's a whole front page section right after the Kenobi stuff. So go look all of that. Even video games are on sale. Some of the stuff goes through tomorrow. So if you are interested in getting some swag, there have been some amazing deals on some things out there, guys. So certainly go and buy your pinball machines. And the other thing, though, is we had a little bit of Obi-Wan news out there on StarWars.com, too, as they announced that Obi-Wan Wednesdays are going to start May 25th, just in time for Celebration, of course. And these are a program that's going to focus on toys and collectibles and everything else that's coming out for the series. So it sounds like there's going to be a staged rollout of these types of things. So again, if you're a collector of all of those types of knickknacks and gadgets and toys and all of that good stuff, like a lot of us are, you're going to want to pay attention. So StarWars.com on Wednesday, starting the 25th. There's also an exclusive article out there with Ario Anandito, who's one of our favorite pencilers for the comics.
Dude's awesome.
And yeah, so he's talking about the Obi-Wan comic series, which is really cool. And you actually get to see like the really rough sketches all the way to the finished art, which I always find out is really neat. And then there's also some behind the scenes conversations about some of the design elements as well as some of the characters as well. So there's always something cool in those articles to pull from that and see a bit of the creative process. But I love seeing like literally some of these things. You're like, well, I could draw that. I mean, I can't really draw stick people, but I'm like, I could draw that.
Sure.
But then you look and see where it goes, and you're like, no. I've seen my line. I've drawn it.
I know my limits. Yeah.
Right. I barely drew the line, but I knew where it was. So anyway, that's a great article too. And again, Obi-Wan centric, because the first Obi-Wan comic came out today, or really yesterday. I think it came out a day early for some reason. But it's an interesting story, and we will talk about the Obi-Wan comics hopefully at a later date when all of the issues come out.
I've already started taking notes on the comic, so
yep,
we'll bring you that here at some point. Right. Hey, before we go further, before we jump into this, I got to ask you. So, what did you buy for on May the 4th? Anything, Jonesy? Anything you'd like to share with us tonight on the show live?
Nothing I would like to admit openly, no. But
okay,
I encourage anybody who is an Arcade 1-Up fan to go out there and look at the 44% discount. And if you're listening as a podcast, this is why you should be on the live stream, because you're going to get all this great stuff, and you're going to be out of whack depending on how quickly we get this out to you. But yeah, Arcade 1-Up 3/4. They do the 3/4 size machines of arcade machines and pinball, and they have a steal of a deal on the Star Wars 10-in-1 pinball
Wow.
machine.
So if someone was to, just theoretically, hypothetically speaking, if someone was to go out to the website and buy that pinball machine, what would they expect to pay? What's the current rate on that?
Usually it's about a $750 to $800.
Okay.
But right now it's on sale for $420.
Okay. And now after shipping, let's just hypothetically speaking, if someone were to pay shipping all in and they lived in Texas, say Houston, for example, what would the tax be? What would that final total be?
I think it was like $450, $263. That's just a ballpark.
Ballpark though. Right.
Ballpark.
Right. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, there you go. Go get a pinball machine. You won't be the
10
only
different
one.
electronic boards, man. So cool. I'm becoming Mike Rondo.
Yeah.
In all sorts of different ways.
Did
you go out there and buy anything?
I did. I actually went out to, which reminds me, I need to go check Galaxy of Heroes. I know they've got a deal going on right now too. But
yeah,
I went out and bought. So every year, May the 4th comes and goes, and I always forget to buy the collection of games that are available on Steam for Star Wars. And so I finally I went out and bought the bundle, like every game that they've ever they have in the back catalog. It was like $77, and that's with like, I don't know, 65% off. I can't even tell you how many games are there's. I don't even know. There's like 30 games on here total.
There was a website I came across that had them all listed for all the video games, and it was pages long across not just Steam but Humble and Nintendo, the Switch. Every platform possible had something going on. It was crazy.
It looks like 28 games in total. I mean, you've got all the staples in here, like, the Battlefronts and Jedi Knights, all that whole series. You've got Dark Forces in here,
Republic Commando,
Commando, Knights of
Old
the
Republic.
The TIE Fighter, X-Wing games are in here. Rebellion's even in here.
I think Pod Racer was even in there.
Yeah, Pod Racer's in here. Rebel Assault 1 and 2, if anybody remembers that one. Yeah. That's nice. Cool, high quality 240 by 120 JPEG, or what is it? I don't even remember what the format was. Probably AVI or something. But
yeah, it was probably AVI.
Anyways, yeah, there's I got that whole thing. So, and now I just need to get me a what do you call it? The Steam Deck, little portable system, so I can play these things. But pretty excited about that.
A buddy of mine's got the one for the iPad, and it is pretty slick.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. So I don't know when in the heck I'm going to have time to play all these games, but I can have them. Exactly. And ownership is what this is really about. It really doesn't matter if I'm going to ever get to them. It's the fact that I own them is the most.
You are a true collector, Albert.
Exactly. I'm a collector of items.
Someone asked me, like, why do you get all these comics? What do you do with them? I was like, I put them in a box.
Put them in a box. Duh. Yeah.
Well, why do you buy them all? Because I want to have them.
Yep.
I don't understand. There are people who understand collectors, and there are people who don't understand collecting at all. Right. And that's okay. We love you just the same.
Yep. Okay. One last thing before we get into the show, and I promise we're going to bring up the we're going to bring
Apple
up
users. Everything's a one more thing for you people.
One more thing, just one more thing. Now, let's not talk about Windows updates. So check this out. So I got my 4-day pass. Yay! And I got my Celebration lanyard, which is really cool. Oh, by the way, if you go to Disney Plus, have you seen the little animated intro they've got now at the top, the banner for May the 4th be with you? So it's the same design. It's this artwork here. I don't think they have it. Yeah. So it's this artwork. I'm showing it right now. It's the official artwork for Star Wars Celebration this year. But they've animated this. It looks so freaking cool. You got to check it out if you get a chance. If you got Disney Plus, go out there and just click on the Star Wars icon to bring that up. It'll pop up at the very top, say, May the 4th be with you. But that artwork has been brought to life. And that's all. I don't know a better way to explain it, but it's really cool. So I got those in. But in addition to that, there was this too. I just want to share this. I may have to pull the trigger on this one. These are watches that I'm showing now from Citizen. They're not like smart watches. They're like old school LED watches, but they've got these custom faces for Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader on them. So I
thought you were going to show us the Invictus like 52 millimeter watches, because I think those were on sale today too.
No, that's a little too much for me.
Little rich for your blood.
Yeah. All right. And
I've got a friend that's a watch collector.
No,
I didn't tell him because
that's worse than comics. I got my Cantina Cast mask in because we got to wear masks the entire time we're at Celebration this year. Yep. Jonesy's wearing his Celebration logo shirt, as a matter of fact. But yeah, I got these masks. We're selling these on TeePublic, and we make like, I don't know, 50 cents. That's not the point. The point is, if you want to wear a mask and support the show and don't want to buy a T-shirt or whatever, you can buy one of these for however much they sell on TeePublic. So the link is eargluemedia.com/store. Huh? Did I get that right,
or
Jonesy?
cantinacast.com/store. Yeah,
Or cantinacast.com.
that's right. We got all the links.
That's the only thing I'm going to get right tonight. Okay. You got anything else? Are you ready to
I think we need to
no.
dive into this. 15 minutes. I think we're good to go. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, right on time. Okay. All right. Well, I am going to pull up the trailer so that we can get flagged by Lucasfilm later and have to dispute this. And we're going to step through the trailer as we do one by one. But before we do, give me your initial thoughts. I mean, this is a trailer. Like I said, we knew it was coming. All signs, all rumors, leaks, whatever, were kind of pointing to sometime this week. I think it was a no-brainer maybe that May 4th would be the day they finally officially released a full-length trailer. And yeah, I mean, I guess I wasn't expecting today, but at the same time, I kind of was. But anyways, what were your thoughts as you were watching this? Give me your raw, visceral reactions as you were watching this for the first time.
Oh man, it was intense. And I think I said this in Discord, was replying to, I think, Lauren. And I think this was a really great balance between, giving you just enough information to have an idea what's going on, the right amount of intensity, the right amount of anticipation, and then just the right amount of confusion that you don't know everything that's going on. There's going to be a twist or a turn. And it really just kind of hit all the right notes. And really, I've heard a couple of people complain about one thing in particular that I'm sure we'll touch on. But man, I just thought it was great fun. I mean, I thought it was really intense. We had to really shift of, okay, who's the villain in this? I mean, we had originally the Grand Inquisitor, and now it's very much going to be the third sister. Looks like Reva. So which makes a lot of sense. But but we got a much better idea. Man, it was just a lot of fun. I watched it numerous times, and I think especially that end scene, you just get chills knowing what's coming.
Yep. Yeah.
But no, it asked a lot of questions popped in my head. Just a lot of questions though about where we're at and what the order of all these things might actually look like too. What about you?
Well, just as a follow-up question, if I could, sir, one follow-up question. Anything jump out at you? Like, what stood out to you the most? Be it a person, a scene, something that you just keep coming back to. Anything there for you?
Oh man, it's got to be that sick burn from Owen.
Oh yeah. The only burn sicker is the one that happened there on Mustafar.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, that's a nerd joke for you guys. Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, the Owen Lars scene was very much one of them because it was just, man, we'll talk about it in a minute, I know, but it's just that interaction though. I think we've been wanting that for a while, but we've been wanting it for 40 years or 50 years or whatever it is, and to finally have it. And I tell you, man, Joel Edgerton, man, he knocked knocked out of the park with how, like, his dictation and his voice. Like, he really nailed that part, I think.
Yeah.
It was just really good.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that interaction, and then I guess, and also the intensity of Reva as she's chasing Obi-Wan.
Yep.
And the way that they pieced together that scene was, I mean, how can you not, love a scene where you can't escape him and then you start seeing Vader being assembled of all things.
Right.
I mean, it was just terrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What about you, good sir? What things stood out to you, and what are you most excited about coming out of that?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the trailer a number of times, like you, and like everyone else probably tuned into this broadcast tonight. But some of the things that, obviously, the sick burn by Uncle Owen there, who knew he had it in him, right? And that was really cool to see, also because we got we had that in the comic books, right? In that New Hope comic, there was a New Hope comic book that had come out. And we got to see that kind of interaction. That, of course, is now Legends. And I went back and looked at it, and there really wasn't anything they lifted from that per se, verbatim. But it was the same. It was the same kind of tone, same kind of message. Just like, yeah, you're the last person I'm going to give this kid up to, right? Because we've all seen what happens there, and we'll come back to that in a little bit because I've got some follow-up questions around that and what that could imply a little bit later. So that stood out to me for sure. The intensity of I would agree. The intensity of the trailer, the way it was put together, the pacing of it, the music, the timing of some of the shots and some of the sounds, all of that was really great. Like, this is an amazing trailer. And it's always, I hate to say that because, like, my favorite Star Wars trailer is probably the Rise of Skywalker, the final trailer for Rise of Skywalker. I think that's the best one they've ever done. And I wasn't really, the biggest fan of the movie overall, but you can't, so it's hard to judge things on a trailer, but overall I would say they did an amazing job for this. It was definitely worth the wait. But the one thing that kept stepping out, like popping up to me, is the fact that we never see Kenobi with his lightsaber, and we never see him use a lightsaber. In fact, it almost looks like he's going to great lengths not to use a lightsaber. He's using
makes perfect sense. Yeah.
He's using Terrascasi or whatever. I don't know if we're going to get into. Well, we are because I put it in the show notes. But it looks like he's using some kind of a martial art, which if it's a Jedi, then it is Terrascasi. But yeah, it's just the fact that he was going out of his way not to use a lightsaber, and so that tells me one of two things: either he doesn't have it, likely because of his own choice, right? I don't think he's running around with a lightsaber. That could get him in a lot of trouble. Or the fact that he does not want to ignite it, because if he ignites it, that is going to clearly give him away as being a Jedi. And so where I'm going with that is I just wonder how much they're going to play that up as part of the series. And if we've had the Ignite the Green kind of initiative that went on with the Force Awakens and some of the subsequent movies there, do we need to start doing like the Blue campaign? I can't wait to see that. So I guarantee you, when he does light up his lightsaber, that is going to be a key critical moment. Like just a memorable moment from this show, hands down, because I think they're gonna tease us with that anticipation, and it may not come until he's standing across from Vader at some point. We may have to wait that long for him to use a lightsaber, which I think would be really cool to kind of see somebody like Luke or Ben Kenobi be disarmed in that way, and try to figure out how does he go against all these other people with lightsabers. Like everybody in this show has a lightsaber, with the exception of stormtroopers and all that. But he's got all these Inquisitors and Vader coming after him. They're all well armed. How far can he go? Like what's going to be his breaking point when he finally decides he has to pull out his lightsaber? So,
right. And I'm highlighting while you were talking. I was highlighting some of the comments that we had for people's first impressions here, and Jeff saying Joel Edgerton is a phenomenal actor. He's going to kill it. Rob was excited about 4LOM.
yeah.
Matthew, he needs as much Vader as he can get. And then Qui-Gon Jinn wins the day, I think. Owen knows about sick burns with a skull and crossbone, referencing how him and Beru meet their untimely fate.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Nice, Jay.
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
That's right in our alley here, right in our wheelhouse in terms of that.
Right, well,
okay.
Let's jump into it.
All right. Well, let's get into this. Let's start at the very beginning. We get the sands of Tatooine, or time, I don't know. And then we get this first shuttle here. Okay, and the shuttle looks like it's coming into is it Dayu?
Yeah, Dayu. It looks like going through their atmosphere, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going a little too fast here. Let me use my keyboard because the mouse goes extreme. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so yeah, it looks like this is a shuttle coming into Dayu. Hard to say whose shuttle this is. It could be Kenobi's.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the Inquisitor shuttle that we've seen in other scenes. Yeah,
it looks more of like a transport, like a transport ship of some sort. So I'm going to assume this is Kenobi going to Dayu for whatever purpose he has there. I know we speculated on that, but yeah, coming in. So not a whole lot to see here just yet.
Yeah, and basically do we want to go ahead and speculate on why he would be there? Some of this trailer is back and forth, so I think we have to give ourselves a little bit of grace here.
I mean, I can. The theory that I had was that he was, because we. Oh boy, I really want to. I'll try to keep this short. So my theory still stays the same. I think this aligns with it, and being that we kept talking about something has to get Kenobi off that planet, right? Something's going to drive him off of that planet, because he wouldn't just leave the chosen one there unless something was of dire straits. And my theory has been that Princess Leia is in trouble, and Bail Organa, who's the only one that knows how to contact him, reached out to him and said, "Hey, you need to help her out, or help somebody out." It doesn't have to be Leia. I think that kind of gets sticky, because now you got to show her, probably, I would assume.
Right.
But someone needs help. And it's somebody significant enough that Kenobi feels like, okay, I can probably take a quick, dive out of here at some point, or and go save her. That could be one reason. The other reason could be him trying to get away to any other planet. Like, he goes from one extreme to the other. If he goes to Dayu, this is on the opposite scale of planets in terms of scenery than Tatooine. And so maybe he's trying to just, lose their scent in some way. And so that's why he decides to go to this place rather than like Coruscant or some of the bigger, well-known city planets. So those are probably two possible ones, but what do you think?
I'm right there with you. I think it's one of those two things. I don't know that it's Leia. I think it'd be more, if it was someone calling out to him, it might be someone like there's another Jedi, and there's a scene later on that has a little bit of confusion there. Maybe that's a possibility. But I think, coupled with, presumably he's going to be driven off of Tatooine, and I've got some thoughts around that here in a few minutes when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think that this makes sense for him to get off planet, throw off the scent, but also either help someone in the meantime, or he stumbles over someone while he's there.
Right. Yeah, that's very possible too, because, as we've mentioned before, the weakness of the Jedi is the fact that they can't stop saving people. They can't stop helping people. So yeah, he could get into some trouble there.
It is like an itch.
Yeah, I forgot about that line. This is the reverse shot of it's the continuation of the first shot that we got similar in the first trailer, which is
Right.
the fifth brother walking with some stormtroopers behind him through the cityscape of the streets of Dayu. And so not much going on here. I kind of want to put these two together just to kind of I feel like compelled to do it because it feels weird to have them in two different trailers. But so I may just do that as a, you know, 2 a.m. kind of side project type thing. I may splice these together. We got a lot of marching, a lot of aggressive marching in this
That's right.
trailer, which is actually good, I guess. But I was laughing because I was thinking, man, everybody's aggressively walking they walk with purpose. So the next shot though is GI, Grand Inquisitor, Fifth Brother, and Riva. I'm gonna assume this is Tatooine.
It looks like it. It's very kind of
white out, bleached.
Yeah. It's kind of what's the word? Almost overexposed in the background to where everything is very, white, maybe like a sandstorm, but that doesn't appear to be the case. But
yeah, I thought that too, and I couldn't understand if it's like Mos Eisley or Espa or I don't know, one of those cities. I mean, it is. Well, I'm trying to think. A Mandalorian. I mean, maybe things just got really dirty over the course of the next 10 years from this point on. Maybe it was this clean because it was cleaner in the original trilogy, right? So a little bit.
I don't know.
I'm trying to.
These places are full of all sorts of folks. So
scum and villainy.
Well, no, that's just the cantina. These are probably good people.
I don't know about that, but no, I'm kidding. Yeah, these are good people. Yeah, but I would assume this is this. I mean, you got the shuttle there. This aligns with some of the scenes like this that we see now. Well, the buildings look a little bit dirtier here.
Well, and they look different. So that's the picture you had there is like a hut or like an awning that comes down. That's almost hard. It's not. I can't tell if it's solid or not. But
you're talking about here with the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, well, there's just before that when you're flashing, this really dark brown right there. So
this thing.
Yeah, right there in the background there. Yeah, in front of where Owen's at. I think so. Again, it's a different side of of these cities in Tatooine.
Yeah.
So I still think it's Tatooine though, because why else would Owen be there? So it just makes sense. But again, the real important question though is what is drawing the Inquisitors to Tatooine?
Yeah.
What is that thing? And I got to be honest with you, I don't think it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think it's something else, and Obi-Wan just happens to be around. But I don't know that it's actually Obi-Wan on Tatooine, because if they knew that he was there and hunting him there, they probably would keep going back and checking on it, and Luke would be more exposed.
Right.
So I'm guessing that it's going to be something else that happens to draw Obi-Wan into it, so to speak.
Yeah, and we threw out a theory. I can't remember when it was. It was probably a couple months ago when we were first. I think it's when we were breaking down the first trailer, or it was on one of the follow-up Patreon episodes. But we had a theory that they may be actually chasing a Jedi, and this Jedi could be coming to find Kenobi. Because I mean, the odds of them just showing up randomly on Tatooine, right, are just too few and far. I just can't believe it. It's not even plausible in my.
Right. And we know that the Inquisitors don't hunt arbitrarily. They hunt down leads. So there would have to be something that someone has seen and reported,
right,
that has made their way to their ears.
Yep, I would agree. And if this person doesn't know any better, right? Let's say he didn't get the message about don't come back to the temple, the order's done kind of thing, then yeah, he's probably looking for anybody. And I think we went into further speculate that maybe he had some kind of a force ability that he was able to sense Obi-Wan's presence. Although I would assume that Obi-Wan has shut that off in some way, or
I would hope so.
Yeah, and we've seen more and more Jedi in comics and that sort of thing since The Last Jedi who were able to do this. So I think it's very plausible that he would have that in his toolbox there, so to speak. So, but yeah, it could be somebody that just happens to be looking for him, finds his trail here for however that may happen, and has led these guys here, which would make a very odd. That would be a really hot situation for Kenobi to be in, because now he's got the Inquisitors literally on his front door, right? If he's got to protect the chosen one. So maybe this is where those two tie together, of him saying, well, maybe I need to just get out of here. That's going to be the safest thing, because if they truly detect that I'm here, then this whole place is off limits from now on. Right. So that could be one of it. Or he could have been, maybe to kind of tie the other theory together, if he did get a call from what's his name? Oh my
Bail.
goodness. Yeah, if he gets a call from Bale and Bale says, "Hey, I need you to help save this person or do a duty for me," he turns that down initially, and then this happens, and he's like, "Well, I guess I have a reason to. I have now dealt. It's the Force talking at this point, right? I got two
Right.
reasons to get out of Dodge. One, to clear myself and clear Luke from any kind of Imperial entanglements, and two, to go, help Bail Organa in some way. So that
It's
could
a
be
question of whether or not this is going to be a call to action for Obi-Wan or if it's going to be one of preservation and, and distraction.
Yeah, and it could be. Yeah, maybe it's both. That'd be really neat. That's very dynamic. I don't know. We'll see. Now, the one thing about this scene, so we were talking about in the first trailer about how did Owen, why is Owen like Lars starting stuff? You know what I mean? Like, why is he getting up in the face of, was it Riva that he was in the first trailer? Like he gets
No,
up in her mug?
I don't think so.
It's somebody.
It was somebody else.
It wasn't somebody. It was somebody here. Like it was one of these guys.
Right, but it wasn't Owen.
I'm pretty sure it was. Pull it up. Pull up the trailer. But because he makes a stink, like there was somebody getting after Owen, like while this is going on, and you can see it here. He's standing in the background. He's got his hands on his hip, giving them a lot of attitude. And I couldn't, at least maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm almost 100%, I'll say 99% positive that he gets Reba gets up in his face and he's kind of looking off to the side. And
maybe, I mean, they might be walking up and down and or not interrogating, but just calling everybody out. And they walk around and look at everybody. We've had a report or there's, something like that, this is why we're here. If you bring them out, we'll spare you, but we'll have no quarter if we find them and you're a traitor to the Empire.
Yeah. So if someone is calling him out, then what I would say is if this young lady here has done something, if she's done something and maybe Owen steps in to kind of help, I wouldn't say defend her, but like, hey, get your hands off of her kind of thing. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm watching the trailer right now. She turns and looks at Owen directly.
Right, but there wasn't a confrontation, right?
Yeah. No, there was no, not a confrontation. It was just a look that she gives him of like, "Hey, buddy, who are you?" kind of thing.
Yeah, but I also don't think that it makes sense for Owen to stand up for anybody because all that does is draw attention to him and his family. And he has to understand how important Luke is, right?
Well,
even if he doesn't.
That's the question. We'll get to that question here in a little bit. Does he?
I think he does based on what we see a little bit later. But again, is Owen going to have this sense of right and responsibility over protecting Luke? That's his responsibility as well. And so I have a feeling that he's not going to engage and step to someone's defense if they're trying to intimidate people. And of course, like you said, this young lady looks like she's given the fifth brother a bit of the stink eye, but while she looks more in the front, I don't know that she's been singled out. I think everyone's just kind of there.
I think she's singled out, man. Like she's even opening her mouth, like she's saying something to him right here. And so in my head, again, we're purely speculating at this point, right? This is just fun stuff to do.
Maybe it's Jocasta knew they're rewriting her history.
That's Jocasta. They found her. This is where they were actually
right. She wasn't really in the library in the tunnels. No, she was right here on Tatooine as well.
That was her.
Everyone's really here on Tatooine.
But I'm wondering if because this is very tropish, right? Where the military force comes into a town, says all you people have to be subservient of us. We're the new power in town, and it's the old people that step forward and say, "I'm not going to bow down from you. I've seen your kind before." Yada yada yada, right? And so maybe this is what she's doing. She's standing up to these guys like, "You're not gonna, you guys are gonna fall." She says some crappy stuff to them. I just wonder about he's got his hands on his hips there. He's just got a lot of attitude, man. So I don't know if he's going to.
Some of that I think is Owen.
What's that?
Some of that I think is Owen.
Yeah.
I think he could also just be, that's his kind of casual stand. Like, what is going on out here now?
But I think if you couple this with the other one where when Riva turns around and looks at him directly, I wonder if he does say something or backs her up in some way. So I'm with you though. Like so here's the thing I would say. I'm 100%. I would agree that he would not put Luke in jeopardy. He might I wouldn't say put his family in jeopardy. I don't think he thinks that's coming. But if he doesn't know, and we'll get to this question in a little bit later, but if he does not know what Luke is potentially capable of, well, I guess he does because he says he needs to be trained.
That's what I was referencing before.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I would agree. Then I wouldn't see him doing that. But I just
Owen may not. Owen doesn't necessarily believe in all that hooey either. But
that's true. That's true. All right. Well, we spent way too much.
But now we've analyzed that whole half of a second of a scene.
Yep, that only took 10 minutes.
And same one from this is the same one of the Grand Inquisitor from the teaser.
Yeah. Any thoughts on who this guy is here? I think
No,
do you
I
remember?
think it's another merchant. They just, again, investigating and talking to people, either of someone that made a report or they're trying to look for someone and get information from these people.
Yeah.
Because we know there's a skirmish here, right? Because we know Reva comes in here with her lightsaber here in a little while, or at least in the teaser she did.
Yeah, there's somebody else in here that they stop.
Right,
And
they make kind of a run for it or something.
Yeah, and that's if I had to put if I go back to there's a Jedi on the run and it's not Obi-Wan, and that rhymed. Then it's probably that person. I'm trying to remember when in the trailer that happens. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, he kind of just stops.
She jumps right in front of him, and
So I wonder then if this is this guy, if this is just part of the interrogation, and that guy is not in the shot, and then suddenly tries to get away at the last minute, and Reva steps in, stops him, kind of thing. So, okay. I gotta say, man, I really like all of her scenes. Like, we didn't get a whole lot of her.
She's looking great. I got to be honest with you, she's looking great, and she's going to be a formidable foe, I think, in this series.
Yeah. And she's somebody I wouldn't want to, like, I hate to say this because we're only, we haven't even gotten the first episode, and I know nothing about her other than the fact that she's a sister. But I would like to know more about her backstory. I think she's pretty intriguing just in her look alone, and just how devoted she is to finding Obi-Wan. Like, it almost feels like there's
they know each other.
Yes, exactly. Like, there's more there, like, that we don't know about. Like, either, maybe it's kind of like the what is it, the Martez sisters, where where they, not necessarily the Martez sisters, because they weren't like they weren't after the Jedi, but they certainly blamed the Jedi for a lot of the things that were going on. But we don't know her story, right? She could have been if she's force sensitive, I would assume she is, because she's an Inquisitor of some sort. Maybe she was a youngling, or maybe she was a Padawan at some point, and she was converted. And we're going to get into all this tomorrow on the Inquisitor show about how they do all this stuff. But at some point, if Obi-Wan crossed her, or she felt like she had a personal vendetta against him, it just feels like she's emotionally invested in finding Obi-Wan, and just the way she's talking about it, and the way she's like sulking around like this, like she's like, there's something going on there. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it just yet. But
I don't think about that sulking, but I agree, and I hope we really get more about the Inquisitors in general. While we've had some of that background in the comics and in material like that, I think with her in particular, it's a really great opportunity to dig in, because she would have been, I don't know, 10 to 15 years old when Order 66 happened. And again, we know that the Inquisitors are former Jedi of varying stages. Some were adults, some were children. And so I think this is an opportunity for us I think there is some sort of connection with Obi-Wan. Now, did they know each other and have a really close relationship? I don't know. But is she going to hold Obi-Wan, like you said, responsible for something that gives her that vendetta? Yeah. And this is why she's serving Vader, is to get people like Kenobi, or maybe Kenobi specifically, because it does sound like there's a bit of an obsession here with her too. Yeah. A little bit later on with what we hear, what I think is probably the fifth brother talking. So I think this is really interesting of what we're going to get. And I think this is what makes her character, so potentially dynamic and really engaging. And aside from the Obi-Wan Vader dynamic, is likely to be like the make or break kind of character about how well this series does. I think her performance in this, Moses Ingram's performance in this as this character, I think is going to be vital for this series to really be take it seriously and be really good to add to the canon beyond Vader. I mean, the Inquisitors are an extension of Vader, right? Yeah. So they have to have that. And so far, for what we're seeing, she is killing it, literally. Quite literally sometimes.
Quite literally. Let's. I guess we skipped over the two. There's some audio going on here as well. We get Kenobi saying they're coming. Then he says, "Stay hidden." This is all kind of pulling from the message that he leaves. And Ken brought this up, and maybe we can just talk about it now, because I don't know that we have talked about it. Ken asked in the chat, let's see, where is it? Sorry. He says, hope they'll fly like rebels.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are of them using their lightsabers to fly around a la helicopter mode?
I'm going to go with 0.
Really?
To be honest with you. Yeah, I'm going to go with 0.
So as you guys may know if you listen to the show, I'm a huge supporter of Star Wars Rebels, and I actually don't mind the helicopter lightsabers because I mean, come on, if you can get past like if you're okay with Force and everything else that's wild and crazy in Star Wars, but that's the one thing you get caught up on, then yeah. But I would say, as much as I would love to see it, I don't think we're going to see it as well. I don't think they're going to do it, and I hate to say that because it feels like they should. That's just what they're known for. But I could be surprised. I mean, we could be surprised.
Now, we'll say this though. So when we see Riva jumping, through the buildings of Dayu,
Yeah,
if it were to happen, it seems like that would be a great opportunity for her to make a jump and then use that to, slow her descent onto
Right.
something. So maybe not fly like a helicopter like we saw in Rebels, but slow her descent and do something that still captures the spirit of what they were doing without actually making it seem like they just fly.
yeah. No, I'm with you. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know that it's going to happen. Now, Riva, can she do it with? She doesn't have like she's got a half of circle. So can she fly?
Right. Well, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, she's got a different lightsaber. I mean, and
I wonder if you could still.
I got to be honest. I mean, when you look at the design of that, there's no way that thing spins. So I don't understand how this stuff works anyway. The science of spinning lightsabers. If you just look at the way it's designed,
Yeah,
they don't work.
his doesn't look like I don't think I've seen the Inquisitors up close.
I think what they actually do is there's a handle and it disconnects of sorts and then it starts spinning or something to that effect. Because if you just hold the lightsaber in the middle, the whole thing is the entire length of the everything from the body all the way to the emitters. So
Yeah, they do a better job of showing it, of course, in Rebels if you've never seen that. So, if anybody that's not seen Star Wars Rebels, if you haven't figured out by now, the Inquisitors were capable of flying away, quite literally, just putting the lightsaber up, spinning it so fast, and through magic of Star Wars science, whatever the Force, goodwill, bad will, they were able to like take off and fly away, and that was controversial for Rebels at the time. Our very own Mike Rondo to this day loses sleep overnight at night over the fact that they were able to fly. So,
but to get to your question though, who is Obi-Wan talking to? Is it the same conversation or is it broken apart? I have a feeling if it were all in the same conversation, I have a feeling that's what's being talked about on Dayu, potentially with Kumail Nanjiani's character that we saw. So, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, but so if it's all one conversation, I think it's going to be more in that because clearly they're in the shadows and he's fighting people on the sides and, all that good stuff.
We get into now. This isn't anything new. I had a question though because so we get to see now where Kenobi's watching Luke through the little binoculars there, riding like a bantha. Or no, he's in a pod racer kind of thing. But I did wonder, did they hold on this shot? I didn't get a chance to go back and look, but did they hold on this shot a little bit longer than they did in the first trailer? Because it almost feels, and maybe I didn't see this initially, but you can almost see him smirking or smiling there, kind of at the very end, right about there, before it starts going gray. You see that?
Maybe.
Okay, well,
it's possible.
It's possible. All right, well, maybe not. We'll see. Maybe we'll get a chance to go back and take a look at him. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, stuff. He's got such a flatline look on his face, but
yeah.
I mean, he could be just enjoying watching Luke from a distance like a creeper.
The other line that's spoken here before we get Owen speaking is, "Or we will not survive," again by Kenobi. And then we get the lines of, "Leave us alone. When the time comes, he must be trained like he trained his father." Oh, burn.
Oh, sick burn.
Oh, yeah. And like, he's still got his hands. I mean, he's like, what was it? I think it was Lauren said he's like the king of sass. He does have like, here, see, it says, she said, "I think we're going to see some sass from Owen. I think we might see Papa Bear mode, but yeah, he definitely is the king of sass there on the planet of Tatooine." But what do you want to say about the scene other than the fact that
I guess the question is this before or after the Inquisitors are there, I guess? Which do you think that is?
I'm going to say this is before.
I'm going to say after.
Okay, good. One of us is right. That's all that matters.
That's right.
Because when we go back and
we
say,
are 100% guaranteed to be right as a show.
Exactly, as a show, right. We're going to go back and say, we told you. We called it.
That's right.
Yeah, so.
Everything's a we statement around here, baby.
Yep. But what else do you want to say about this? I mean, he
line delivery is amazing.
Yeah,
first of all. Yeah.
For sure. I think it's pretty safe to say he's not cool with Obi-Wan. where do you think a lot of this angst is coming from?
I think, and that's where I was kind of going. There's
Yeah.
clearly more backstory here, and are we going to get more of what that backstory is? And I think some of it's going to depend on how long we're on Tatooine. And I'm starting to feel like we're probably not on Tatooine for very long.
Yeah.
It might be the first episode, maybe into the second, but I'm going to guess probably the first episode, and that might be about it until maybe we come back at the end.
Right.
So that I don't know if we're going to get all of that or as much of it as we want, but I mean, I hope we do, because again, just the delivery here, and then what we hear, of course, in A New Hope, there's clearly a lot of, I don't know if it's animosity, but there's clearly a lot of dissonance between these two characters, and they just, Obi-Wan and his belief system of what Luke needs to become. There we go.
Yeah.
Versus Owen really, I think, trying to protect his family. Owen, the way that we view Owen in A New Hope has changed so much over the years, away from someone who's just kind of controlling Luke or working out for his best interests, or, I'll make it up to you, but I need you here. And really more of this protective surrogate father that really does care about him and is worried about what the future holds for him if Luke does start to expand his horizons and go out into the galaxy and get called upon like his dad did.
Yep.
And so but again, where does Obi-Wan fit in with all of that? We don't need to know all of them, but it would be nice to hear if there were one or two really key incidents. And that's why I think this scene is important if it were to happen after the Inquisitors, because it's just one more notch in Owen's belt that says, look, this is what you're bringing upon us here. You can't stay here. You can't keep doing this. You keep putting him at risk. Just your mere presence here is too much.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea. I'm still going to go before, just so that we can say that we're right.
I like it.
Yep. So, and I'm with you 100%. Like, it feels like there is more going on here. I don't know how they would convey that, right? We don't know how long these episodes are going to be. Given it's 6 episodes, I'm just going to shoot in kind of what they've been doing with the series, these series as of late. Probably, I'm going to say these are probably in the 45 to an hour. I wouldn't put it past them to do that, right?
Yeah, I was thinking 45 to 50. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be good. That'd be a good amount of time. So I think we'll have enough time to at least, get some context as to why this animosity is still there. I mean, I think, maybe Obi-Wan this is yet another attempt, or maybe Obi-Wan's been pestering Owen about, hey, when am I going to get to see him, or when am I going to get to train him? And Owen's like, no, dude, sorry, you're never going to get to see him because of your father. Or if you really want to be like lame about it, maybe maybe Owen is just worried about having extra help for the harvest and can't afford droids. So this is his only cheap labor. That's a joke. But kids are cheap labor. But so maybe that's where he's coming from. But nonetheless, there's something going on here. And hopefully, again, we'll get some backstory on why that is. And the way Ewan McGregor delivers this line,
that's great.
Yeah, it's really great. But it almost feels like, and I don't mean this in a negative context, but it feels like he's very ignorant about it. You know what I mean? Like, he's so blinded by the prophecy and the importance of Luke, that he almost seems desperate the way he's kind of delivering this line a little bit.
Well, I mean, he's one of their last hopes in the galaxy, right?
Yeah. And
it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the desperation and that anxiety of it taking so long to manifest. And again, I don't think Obi-Wan is ignorant to that either. I think he's aware, but I think he's also aware from his perspective. He is aware how important Luke really is too. And other people like Owen don't understand that yet. Obi-Wan feels like it's going to be necessary to, like, I'm the only one who really understands the importance of Luke in a grander sense than what Owen does of keeping him safe here on Tatooine, where the rest of the galaxy needs Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. So here's the $1 million question, where I think, we're speculating on some things, and I think there's one piece that we just don't really truly understand just yet from a canon perspective is we know that Owen blames Kenobi for something. I guess we'll just say the fall of Anakin. But to what extent? Like, did they see Anakin being distressed and moody and doing things? I don't know. Maybe he visited there in the past. I mean, we know we're going to get some flashback sequences, by the way, as well. So did he do it? Does he know that Kenobi is responsible for that Anakin Skywalker that is not Darth Vader, or does he know that Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader, and does he know who Darth Vader is, and just the the overall impact of what the Empire has now done? Does he see that bigger picture? Because I think a lot of what we're trying to speculate on right now is kind of predicated upon how much Owen actually knows about what happened with Anakin.
No, that's a great point. It very much varies on that of how much does Owen actually know? Because I think the other part of it is Owen would only have a sliver of the story any which way you slice it. Because how he didn't meet Obi-Wan until after
Oh, true.
Anakin was dead. So the only connection he would have had was, yeah, this was Anakin's master, but did he tell Owen and Beru what happened, or did he tell Owen at least what happened? And we know the anger and the frustration that Anakin had, finding Shmi. And while Owen, liked Shmi, again, Anakin wasn't there for a lot of time to be able to share a lot about what was going on with Obi-Wan unless he was eavesdropping. But again, that's only a very, very small piece of it.
Right.
So, but again, from what we know about Owen, just on screen and some of that material, Owen sometimes a bit short-sighted in his opinions too, of had drawing conclusions and making up his mind on things.
That's a good point. Jay says, does Obi-Wan know? Does he know that's become Vader? That he's become Vader?
Well, he heard, because in the hologram he saw Anakin kneeling in front of the Emperor.
Yeah.
And he named him Darth Vader right then, right?
Right.
So presumably that was on the holocam, and I didn't go back and watch Revenge of the Sith to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure he would have seen that.
Yeah.
And again, he was kneeling in front of the Emperor, and the Emperor has a lapdog. So, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he hasn't admitted it to himself, though.
True.
He could be in denial. Yeah.
We
forgot. That's a fair point.
So I don't have it pulled up, and I apologize, but we didn't talk about the poster that was released today as well. They had an Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's a cool poster.
Yeah, and it's essentially, it's just got Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of full imaged, and he's got his hood on, and then you've got a picture of Vader kind of in the background, like overlaid or underlaid, if you want to call it that, and Vader's standing on like some mountaintop. But I posted today the symbolism of it though. You've got Vader directly in the center of where Obi-Wan's heart is. And so the symbolism being that Vader and what happened to Anakin is in Obi-Wan's heart. It's like he can't let it go. We talked about on the last show that we did for the Kenobi trailer that we were speculating that we're going to see Kenobi kind of in the dumps. And I don't think we've seen just yet from the pictures that we've seen so far.
There you go.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, it's on the title card there. But yeah, I mean, like, look, I mean, that's not coincidence, right? They threw that dude right in the middle of Vader, right in the middle of his heart there. So I wonder if I just wonder how much we're going to see Kenobi still reeling from what happened on Mustafar and still blaming himself for not doing more, not doing better, having let, not just Qui-Gon down, but let Anakin down and let the Jedi Order down. And, this is a situation that they're in that they've never been in the order of the history that, well, that's not true. But for the most part, yeah, they've never been this, decimated. All right.
Right.
But yeah, all that it's got to weigh on his shoulders, right? He's got to be rethinking that whole events, all of those events over and over again. What could I have done differently? What should I have done differently? Have I made the right choices in hiding Luke and all that? So all this has got to be weighing on him. And I just don't know if we're going to get to see some of that, but I have a feeling he's hurting.
Again, I think this conversation is very much a piece of that, even if a very small one, of his responsibility to Luke and what Luke's destiny is. Whether Owen likes it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think all of that's built into it. All of the guilt, all of the potential shame, the uncertainty, the anxiety, just everything that Obi-Wan's experiencing is all going to be channeled into Luke Skywalker.
Right. And he's going to get an opportunity he's trying to do well by him, right? When we get to episode 4 and Empire Strikes Back, doesn't want to make those same mistakes. All right. Enough of that though. Okay, so I think that's the last part. We get this look of, I don't know if this is all part of that same shot. It's always hard to say because they kind of splice stuff together, but him looking away there at the last minute, like, maybe he's right.
There's the Opie in the background.
Yeah. We get that. We're going to get that here in just a second.
That's right.
Riding
Got to have a Eopie action in every trailer.
Okay, so let's move into there's a voice that comes over saying you still want Kenobi, and it follows up a little bit later with he's gone. Any thoughts, theories as to who this? It doesn't sound like anybody we've heard so far. It doesn't sound like Owen or Reva, of course.
I think it's the fifth brother talking to Reva.
That's kind of my guess as well.
I mean, it makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they either get away from him, but again, I think, and this is what speaks to me of, is this before or after Tatooine, right? Because if this is after Tatooine, then they had no idea Obi-Wan was there. But for some reason, Reva is obsessing over him. And so is that based on their history, or is it something else?
Yeah.
And I think that's it's a very short phrase here, but you could really take that. And that's kind of where I went initially was, okay, Obi-Wan's off the radar. He's gone. She's still obsessed over him for some reason, but he's been off the radar for so long that he's lost and gone in the wind. Not necessarily that he's disappeared off the radar of everybody, but consequently, you could do the other side of it too and say, well, we had him, slipped through our fingers. Now we don't know where he's at, and that's when they go and find him on Dayu later on, do it a tip or whatever it might be.
Sure. Yeah, and I forgot. I should have said the line that they've put together right after this is Reva. It sounds like Reva. No confirmation. I didn't look at the subtitles. You know what? I should have done that, but I didn't look at the subtitles. But the next line is the next voiceover is maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. So it's almost like it's a response.
Oh, it's her.
Yeah. It's almost like it's a response to you still want Kenobi. He's gone, and then she comes in. She pipes in with maybe you're looking in the wrong places. So if we're to put all those together, then I think it probably is the fifth brother, and that is probably Reva kind of saying, "Hey, you're dumb. Let me show you how to do this." Now, another theory, if they're not, I guess another theory could be if there is somebody that they're after and they're looking like, say, a Jedi, presumably a Jedi, and that Jedi is on Tatooine, and they capture that Jedi, which that is possible, before they kill him, and they're trying to extract information from him. Maybe he's either bluffing or he knows for a fact that Kenobi has left the planet, and those are kind of the last things that he says, because it does sound like. It sounds, I don't know what the word is, but it doesn't sound like you still want Kenobi? He's gone. It was like a very sinister, like you're never going to find him kind of gone, and so maybe it is that Jedi or whoever it is that went to Tatooine that's saying, forget it. He's long gone. You're never going to find him again. And then later on, now they're in the hunt trying to find him. And then Reva steps in, maybe in that map room scene, right? Again, speculating, maybe in that map room scene, they're sitting there trying to figure out, maybe he's here, maybe he's there. And then she finally pipes up with, maybe you've been looking in the wrong places and stop looking at maps. Maybe we need to go back and do some, basic troubleshooting or something. I don't know. Again, just I'm totally making stuff up here.
Well, right, and that speaks to her, her manhunt basically. And I think it ties directly into the next conversation we have about that with she wants every low life and bounty hunter out there scouring the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's where they get a lot of their information from. They need those tips. They need something to go and chase down and hunt down. And while bounty hunters are not the most reliable source of things, they are good at flushing things out sometimes. And they're expendable from the Empire's perspective. So
yeah,
why not hire a few of them to go out there, and especially if we're still have a few stragglers that they've not been able to purge.
My brother coming with the levity in this moment says, "Dang, he's like that kid who would hide where you hid. Worst hide and seek player." What he's referencing is if you ever played hide and seek and you're playing with other kids and they go hide in the same spot, you're like, "No, dude, I'm here. Get out of here." It's the same kind of thing. He went to Tatooine, and why did you go there? And to be fair, like I don't think I know Alex is being funny. I didn't think he went to go hide there. I think he was looking for Obi-Wan for, I don't know, help, assistance, safety in numbers. Maybe he didn't get the memo about don't come back to the temple.
Right.
But
should have also said, don't follow me to Tatooine either.
Or stay off Tatooine.
Or Dagobah.
Attempt no landings there.
Right.
Okay. It's a 2010 joke. Okay, so here is the next scene. This is Reva. It's clearly, in my opinion, it's clearly the HQ for the Inquisitors. What was it called? It wasn't Inquisitorius Sanctorum. I think I'm thinking of Doctor Strange because that's coming out.
Nur.
What's that?
Nur.
The planet. Yeah, I was just trying to think of the name of the building itself, but it's really not.
Oh, yeah.
Call it the headquarters.
We'll just call it Castle Inquisitorius.
There you go. Sanctum Inquisitorius. How about that?
Sanctum. Yeah. There you go. That works.
Hey, look, Lauren got my Arthur C. Clarke reference. Attempt no landings there.
Book
Okay,
nerds.
sorry. Book nerds. So this is the TIE fighters are up there. You can see her coming back. I don't know when this is, if she's coming back from something. She's angry. She's always angry in this whole trailer. But she's definitely just, you can see the little landing.
Right. And that's the
ramp.
same ship that they took to Tatooine.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Okay, so this scene, we did some.
That's right. We have confirmed for ourselves what the planet is or where they're going.
Yeah. So this scene here. Okay. So the scene we're looking at now. For those. Oh, we skipped over the Yopi. Did I skip that over? No, I didn't. That's a little bit.
No, we haven't got there yet.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. Let me just get caught up here. But we were now at them looking at them. They're in the map room. I guess we'll call it the map table. How about that? And you got the fifth brother, you got Reva, you've got, which is the third sister. I don't know. Have you seen anything confirming her number, who she is, or anything?
The one on the far left?
Yeah, the far left one. She's the one with the dangly stuff that looks like what's that race called? That's got the dangly stuff. It's like Indira. Is it Indira Stokes?
Right, and Stas Ali. And...
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember. I don't think it's that, though, because they look too sharp, and those are usually like round.
Right.
And hers are sharp. Oh, look, War Room. There we go. How about that? Thanks, Neil. Neil chiming in with War Room.
I don't know. I kept trying to think of what are the numbers we haven't seen yet in the materials. I think fourth. We don't have a 4.
We haven't seen 1, 2, 4.
No, we've seen second. Second sister is.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. Yep.
But yeah, 1 and 4. We've got 5, 6, 7. We don't have an 8, but we do have a 9. And I don't know if they go above 9. So
I don't either.
I don't know. So she's probably one of those because we know Reva's the third. We know fifth brother.
Yep.
The comic had a bunch of other ones that are dead now.
Yeah, they had at least 2 that died at the hands of Vader.
Yeah, there were 4, I think, all 4 or 5 of them that have died already.
Yeah,
and the two that Vader killed, I don't think they even had a number.
Yeah, well, they didn't reference them no, you're right. They never referenced a number for them. You're talking about the ones that let the baby get away or whatever it was.
The lovebirds.
Romantically involved. And
right.
He said enough of this stuff.
That's right. No time for love, Dr. Jones.
Okay, so there's an Indiana Jones reference for you. So back to this scene here. So the weird thing about them looking at it looks like they're, charting where they're going to go next or where possibly Kenobi could have gone, yada, yada. The weird thing about this scene is the Orabesh that you see on the table. Like I had a hard time trying to figure this out. It's because these guys I didn't even notice this until you brought it up. They're looking at the Orabesh upside down. Like the only person that's looking at this the right way is this schmuck over here on the far left-hand side, this Imperial officer over here.
Well, I looked. So as they pull into it, on the left side of the table, it's actually right side up. It has got the same word. So right on the far left.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah. So that side is right side up, but it's completely out of the way. But yeah, the other one is upside down. But
that makes sense.
But it's right side up for us. But the other one is right side up for them. Yeah,
but
crazy.
It's still flipped though. Like it's still inverted. Like it's not. I had to flip. I took a screenshot of this and I had to flip it horizontally to read the Orabesh because that is backwards.
Huh.
It should go the other direction. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
What it spells out is Mapuzo.
Right.
Mapuzo. And I'm assuming that's this planet. I'm assuming this is where they're going to go. I guess it's a planet we haven't seen. Maybe it's that one planet, in the very first trailer, we get that Imperial officer walking out into what looks like the Joshua Tree area, which was the code name of the movie, I think, or at least the code name of the TV show was called the code name Joshua Tree. You remember that?
It's been a while.
Okay. Either way, that scene was the only one that we couldn't put our finger on because, there, as far as we know, there aren't really trees or a lot of vegetation, certainly not Joshua trees on Tatooine that we've seen. So presumably this is a new location. That was a new location. Here's another new location, Mapuzo, that we have never heard of. We went back and did some research on this, and it turns out this is actually a true, it's a true planet. It's already been established in Star Wars, although it was in Legends, Mapuzo was there. But it was first introduced in the Alliance Intelligence Reports, which was a supplemental game accessory for the 1980s West End Games Star Wars role-playing game that we talk about all the time on the show for whatever reason. Okay, I'll admit it. But
I was about to say, there's only one reason.
yeah, it's only one reason. But there was and quickly the backstory on it, there's really nothing that's significant, I think, that's going to play into this. But if you have to know, there was a female Rhodian bounty hunter named Vadon Lenator, and she was connected with something called the Mapuzu break-in, which was the Imperials broke into a prison cell of some sort that was run by the Rebel Alliance at the time, the Rebels, and they freed a number of Imperial agents, people that were held captive, bounty hunters that were in service to the Empire, and let them all go. And she was one of the people that was of interest. So they never pinned her down for this, but she was of interest. So again, the reference is really this planet was where they had a big break-in. Apart from that, there's no other kind of information about this planet. So my gut tells me
it's just a deep cut. Yep.
Yep. They took a phone book and that's the planet we're going to use, Mapuzo.
So the question is it in the same system as Dayu, or is it in the same, solar system or what?
You said it was the mid rim, right?
Yeah, it's in the mid rim, right? And I don't think we've had any kind of confirmation where Dayu is located.
No, I don't think so either. I haven't seen anything just yet. So, but distance is almost kind of it's not absolute in Star Wars because people travel everywhere in a matter of seconds,
a matter of parsecs sometimes,
conveniently for the story.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure where this is going to be, but that's I think we're going to go to Mapuzo. That'd be my guess. Okay, there's your egregious Eope.
Yeah. Your establishing shot.
Yeah, he's in the desert, and this is where this kind of plays in with he's gone. I think this is it right here. Let me see. No, this is a little bit later. Yeah, this is maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. Okay, so then we get the shot.
Right. So this is where I was wrong about something.
Oh, what were you wrong about?
So remember in the teaser we had two. It looked like they look like escape pods, but yeah, they're definitely probe droids. So these are definitely probe droids being shot out into.
What did I say?
I don't remember what you said. I just remember I was wrong.
Well,
you may have said. I think you may have said probe droids.
I probably did, so that we would be right. So good job.
Nicely done, sir. Yeah, I'm glad we got that done. So yeah, never mind. All right.
Yeah, and it would make sense for these to be. I mean, they definitely look like probe droids right here. Like if you've ever watched the intro to Empire Strikes Back, which there used to be a trivia question, like how many probe droids were launched at the beginning of that scene, and I want to say it's 9. So okay, but you only knew that was 9 if you had the widescreen versions, because in the pan and scan, the 4x3 one, you couldn't see the far right hand side, so you never saw one of the probe droids leave.
You rich kids.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so yeah, these definitely look like probe droids to me, although they do look a little different. But
yeah, they do look different. Yeah.
Like, why would you use escape pods to get out of?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So. And again, I was postulating that maybe it was Obi-Wan and Yoda immediately after Revenge of the Sith, but clearly that's just probably not going to be the case.
All right, so where are these 3 probe droids going, though? Do you want to try to speculate on that?
Well, I'm going to guess one is going to Mapuzo, because it kind of seems like we see one behind Obi-Wan on a semi-desert, somewhat brushy planet.
Yeah. So we'll get to that scene here in a minute.
I'm guessing, well, I don't know. Maybe one to Dayu, and maybe one that just goes somewhere completely different.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the point is one of them probably goes to Mapuzo, and that's how they get their lead to go there next, to follow him there. I don't think it's really important to understand where the other 2 are going to go.
Right. But again, the order of where they're going and why is difficult to still grasp onto at this point.
Sure. Yep. But yeah, those are them's probe droids. Colonel. Here is Reva. I don't remember if this scene cut. Like I think it was, we got to see it rotate around her from the front at on the very first teaser. I'm going to pull this up while I'm talking here so I can just try to see that. But this definitely, if I remember correctly, we get more in this shot than we did the first time.
I think so, because I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember seeing the blasters in the background either.
Those sneaky son of a guns.
They just flip it?
They flipped it, yeah. I'm looking at it right now. So they on this
I didn't
one,
read what the sign said.
yeah. So this one is I don't remember. We talked about it. It was like butter or something stupid. But this is panning from left to right, and it suddenly then shifts its focus onto the rooftop battle that's happening. But in the original teaser trailer, it was in reverse. It's the same thing, but they're coming from right to left, and it starts conveniently right about here. Actually, if I could go back, so well, it's actually before they faded out. But yeah, they rotate from right to left. So
Huh.
interesting that they did that to throw us off.
Oh, the editing room. So many things you can do.
Mm-hmm. But now this changes my perspective a lot. Like we had speculated originally that she was up on these rooftops. She was looking for Kenobi. We think we had speculated maybe she has some kind of psychometry power through the Force or some enhanced tracking ability like what's his face from
Quinlan
Bad
Voss.
Batch. Oh, I was thinking
Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, where she's able to kind of tap into the Force and be able to find people and all that, or maybe she's tracking them by his.
She's got bounty hunters.
Yeah, she does.
And, I mean, good eyes.
And very good eyes. But it almost feels like she finally, like she notices this because she's not, I'm going to guess she's going to engage, but this definitely seems like that battle that we've seen in this episode again. And we saw, in this trailer, as we saw in the teaser trailer, that's happening between Obi-Wan Kenobi, Forlom, and maybe other bounty hunters, where, we had the green doves and all that a little bit later. But I guess the question for you, do you think she's going to engage? Does she allow that to happen, or does she jump at this point? And maybe she uses her helicopter blade here. This
Right. Yeah. She's going to helicopter down across the buildings.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, I think this is where, she's going to get a report from the bounty hunters that something's going on. And yeah, she starts chasing after.
Yep. And we'll get to that scene. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, as I said, we'll get to the rooftop battle here in just one second, because they kind of give us some more information. I did not. So we're going now to the a very fine looking young Ewan in his I guess the time it was around the time of Clone Wars.
Yeah, this is Revenge of the Sith promo shots right here.
Exactly. Very, very young Kenobi. But I mean, it says wanted Obi-Wan Kenobi. I can read that. I didn't go through and translate all the rest, but I figured it wasn't anything important.
I did.
Okay, good. Tell me, what is it?
So along the green bar it says transmitting. Makes sense. And then, wanted Obi-Wan Kenobi. And on the bottom left, it says offenses, high treason. And then on the right, it says bounty upon capture.
Oh, okay.
So a kind of a standard wanted poster of sorts.
Yep. We
don't
know.
Yeah. It's actually for LOM, apparently.
No, it's Forlom. It's like ADAT.
It's spelled out, but it's spelled out in the comic books all the time, like for LOM.
I saw that.
All the time, like literally every time.
Not going to do it.
Not going to do it. I don't blame you. I still call him Forlom too, but
it's Forlom. It'll forever be Forlom and ADAT.
Yeah. And ADAT.
But it looks like
ATST.
An ATST, right? No, that's an ATST, sir. Okay, so this is a Forlom here. I love the colors. Like here they use. I mean, it's a very colorful. Daiyu is a very colorful city. I mean, we've said it's reminiscent of Blade Runner, and
yeah, very much is.
Was it Nar Shaddaa is another one if you're familiar with Star Wars, and Nar Shaddaa being the Huttese planet. It's like the Vegas of planets, if you will.
Yeah, gambling. It's like Atlantic City.
Oh yeah, good times there. I've had a lot of fun on Nar Shaddaa, let me tell you. In Swolcher, to be clear. But yeah, we get more of that same thing. And again, we've got Obi-Wan who's not using a lightsaber, right? He's using a blaster. So uncivilized. Maybe he's come around to the fact that he has to use these blasters, but I would assume that's more about him trying to, again, not
keep a low profile, right?
Yeah, keep a low profile, even if he is under fire, even if people think that it's him.
Right.
I think that would make a difference not to use.
Still not a Jedi, right?
Exactly. Okay, then we get to this, which won my heart over as somebody who practiced Aikido for a number of years. We get to see him doing some. That's more of a judo move, but it's Aikido. I'm going to guess this is Terraskasi. And for anybody that does not know, Terraskasi was the martial art, I guess, if you will, the fighting style that was taught to Jedi. And all this came about in Legends when there was a PlayStation game called Masters of Terraskasi, where you would, it was when Lucasfilm was trying to get in on the fighting game craze and allowed you to pit people like, I don't know, Luke Skywalker versus Mara Jade, for example. So that's what came about it. And I think we've seen who was it? Amelia Clark. What was her character's name?
Kira.
Yeah, Kira was known to be a master at this. She learned from Dryden Doss, who had learned from Maul. Was that right? Or am I making that up in my head?
I don't think they confirmed where Dryden Voss learned it from.
Okay. But they did confirm in canon now that Terrascasi is a thing, and both of those guys were both those two folks were very highly proficient in it. So we get to see Kenobi putting his Terrascasi, assuming that's what it is. I don't know. They've never really
got
it.
He's kicking some butt, some Zabrak butt.
Yeah, he's going all Steven Seagal on this guy right here. I mean, he's got just like wham, Zabrak. I like the Zabrak shirt. That's pretty cool looking.
It's horrible looking.
It's 80s looking. Look at this other person here. He's got a bunch of gold chains. I don't know who that is, but
I can't tell. It's like a black trench coat too.
Yeah, maybe it's Neo. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's very much like Blade Runner though.
Yeah,
I like the top-down shot though. It's kind of a fun. That's very different for Star Wars.
You know, we say that, and then we come up with more examples of where they've used it.
True.
And you and Steven Seagal. Ken knows me from The Basement, which I've brought up Steven Seagal many times on that show. Okay, so the one thing, I guess the question here is, who are these people? And there's a line that says, I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him, assuming that's Reva that's talking. But it does sound like she's got a number of people that are out looking for him. So it's not a matter of just the Inquisitors. Like, she's put out the APB. No coincidence that we got the image of this, where Obi-Wan is on that wanted poster, if you will. Yep. So it sounds like that bounty's out for anybody. So, I mean, these could just be regular, people that are nefarious in the streets. They're like, man, I want in on this bounty, right? So
yeah, any kind of thug's going to take them on. Yeah.
But think about that. Obi-Wan is like, he's not only wanted by the Inquisitors or bounty hunters, but just the people at large are after him because they need this bounty or want this bounty. Wouldn't that be something?
Well, and again, it's unclear how people view the Jedi 10 years after.
True.
Are they still celebrating the Empire? Probably not.
I think it depends on where you are and what you do. But yeah, you're right.
Well, I mean, in places like Tatooine, never really cared, right? One way or the other.
Yeah.
So, but it's a matter of, also of have people started to miss the Jedi, or have they just become forgotten?
They're probably forgotten.
I think we're getting there at the very least. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got to also remember, like, the one thing we probably don't talk about enough that doesn't get talked about enough in the movies. I think Rebels did a really good job, but the propaganda machine that the Empire has.
Oh, Rebels did an amazing job of showing that.
Yeah, yes. I mean, there were people that were, sympathizers for the Empire because of the propaganda machine. So it's hard to say like where the Jedi fit into the realm of all of this. But yeah, I would assume that there are a lot of people that don't like them because they've been brainwashed or brain changed in some way to see them as the villains, the true villains of the story. Nothing exciting here. We got a shot of the shuttle going into one of the Inquisitor shuttles.
Yep.
Back to Nur.
Now, this is an interesting scene, though, coming up.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge Purge Troopers because, hell yeah, Purge Troopers.
We haven't had them in canon yet, have we?
Only so Jedi Fallen Order.
That's right.
Yeah, they were in the video game. But yes, this is the first time I think we've seen them on screen. And for those that might not be as familiar, Purge Troopers are the elite stormtroopers that are assigned to the Inquisitors. And so they are basically Jedi hunters as well, but they're more of an elite class of stormtrooper. So it's really cool to see them here because we did see them in Fallen Order. And for comparison, I think Fallen Order takes place about 5 years before this. I think it's about 5 years after the Purge, which makes this halfway in between. But yeah, she's already got her lightsaber lit though. And so again, and I think this is tied to the scene before where we see her actually wielding it and deflecting some laser bolts, but it looks like they are coming out of the temple. What's interesting about this is it's stone. It's not that metallic. I mean, but this actually looks like stone, like an actual temple on the inside here around the door. You see that?
Yeah, that's true. It is true.
Like a chiseled out stone, not sharply cut stone.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, honestly. I'm wondering now if this is another Imperial facility of some sort.
I'm guessing it's still Nur.
It could be.
That's my guess.
I mean, it's definitely Imperial because you look at, you've got people standing here. You've got the telltale lights there, right? I can't remember what those things are called. So it's definitely Imperial in some way. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe this isn't. And that would make more sense because if you think about it, so a little bit later when we get into her battling, and then there's a scene that we're going to get to where the stormtroopers are taking aim and the purge troopers are taking aim. And you're
Right.
thinking, why would they be doing a battle at the headquarters, right? That doesn't make sense. So although it looks like aesthetically, it looks like, with the exception of what you pointed out, which is this carved stone, I assume that these are two different places now.
So I'm wondering if they actually capture Obi-Wan at some point, and he's able to escape, and that's kind of the what's predicating a number of those scenes that we see in this trailer.
Mm.
Maybe he's coming in, they've captured him, and they're going to come haul him in, but then later on he's escaping, and that's why she's deflecting, and they're shooting that from a ship or something.
Yeah. And this is we get the next voiceover, which is Reva saying, "You can't run, Obi-Wan." And this is where she's screaming emphatically and like passionately about and more than what I would expect. So it just feels like there's something else there to kind of hit that back a little bit, hit it more. Okay, so let's go from this scene now to this one. Again, this does not look like Tatooine to me. Like, again,
Right.
look at the mountains in the background. You've got vegetation. You've got this little spiky plant that's
Some aloe.
some aloe. But yeah, so maybe this is Mapuzo, maybe.
Might be Mapuzo, yeah. I wonder what kind of transport that is on the left, though.
It looks like a utility vehicle of some sort, like a
Of
construction
some sort,
vehicle.
yeah.
I can't remember if we didn't see it in the first teaser. What we saw was that Imperial agent coming off of a shuttle, what presumably looked like a shuttle. She was walking off, and some of that same vegetation in the background we saw. So I'm going to link those two scenes together here. How, I don't know why. But Obi-Wan went here, and they've caught up with him. And you start thinking, well, how did they catch him here? Well, if we fast forward just a little bit, and you might miss it, you can kind of see it there in the background. There's
the probe droid.
Probe droid, yeah, and it looks like it's been destroyed. I'm going to assume that Kenobi did this in some way.
Presumably.
Maybe he used this machine here to take it down, or I don't know. But definitely, they've caught up with him. And in this little scene here, where he's again using Terrascasi, he's being shot at. You can see that blaster bolt on the right-hand side flying right by him there. So there's still another stormtrooper. He flips this guy over, takes his blaster, and then you get that little shot
Pew,
there.
pew.
Yep, him pew-pewing on the other, whoever's firing at him. I'm going to assume which is another stormtrooper of some sort. But they've caught up with him here, for sure.
He is definitely on the run. No doubt about that.
Yep. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. The Tommy Lee Jones and
The fugitive, yes.
fugitive reference. I forgot to write this guy. What was his name? Do you remember?
I don't. Have they given us a name? I looked at the back. So on the back, it's spells Ned 17.
Yeah. Well, but I think that's what we'll
call him Ned. Yeah.
In the last episode we did with the teaser, I think we called him Ned. And we'll just stick with that. But Ned definitely is a good guy, right? Because he's
taking some shots from stormtroopers. He's knocking
there
stuff
it is.
over, and there's where you can see the letters on the back and the numbers at the bottom.
Yep. And
But where are they? I mean, is this the Imperial complex, or is this Nur still, or is it?
This looks like a mine to me. Like in the back here, it almost
Kind of
looks
does, yeah.
scaffolding of some sort, or like a makeshift kind of ladder. I don't know. I'm trying to see. The walls themselves look like there's cracks here. You've got the lights overhead, some kind of a tunnel system.
Right, but I mean, I guess it could be the getting towards the underwater aspect of it, if it is the Imperial. But you're right, this does look like a mining shaft with the softer lighting, the yellow lighting. It's not bright white, the really cool light you see in an Imperial facility typically.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's also Nur, or not Nur. I'm gonna guess this is
Mapuzo?
Mapuzo, yeah. Because I mean, look at
Or in the streets of, or in the underground of Dayu. Is that Obi-Wan in the background?
Well, that's what I was saying. There's somebody in the background who's coming around, like seeking cover. You can see him right here on the far left-hand screen, where Ned is shooting. Right before he shoots, he kind of stops and peeks around the corner. It's getting washed out there a little bit. I know this isn't a super high resolution video, but yeah, you can see it right there. There's definitely somebody who looks like Obi-Wan. He's got a beard, but someone is looking around the corner there while this guy is, Ned's firing shots off here. So I don't know. This is an escape. Is it? I just don't know, and I can't. We don't have enough really to go off of again, because I don't even know why he's on Mapuzo to begin with, right?
Right.
But then why does he ally with himself with a this droid? That's clearly hates the Empire because he's just punching the, the snot out of that. I mean, that stormtrooper goes flying.
Yeah.
So, but I would think of all the planets, at least from what we have and know right now, Mapuza would make the most sense.
Followed by Nur. We'll just call it that. We covered our bases with the planets that we know.
We'll get that one right too.
Or it could be Dayu. There we go.
Or Tatooine, a place
it's definitely not Tatooine.
Not Tatooine.
Right. We'll draw the line in the sand there.
Okay. Let's see. What do we get? We said you can't run Obi-Wan, and then we get you can't escape him is the next line that we hear here as well.
Not yet. That's when she's at the transport.
I almost had that wrong. I probably had it wrong in the show notes. That's right.
Oh, you're just a little ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I think this is where we start to hear that, though. Yeah, she's definitely on Nur, deflecting shots. It looks like I can't tell if it looks like it's from above, so I'm assuming there's a ship.
So why can't this, see, that's the thing that bothers me, though, because if this is definitely Nur. We got you
got the TIE fighters hanging
hanging on the top, right? Ready to be deployed. But then, she's got her lightsaber out here. So, why would she be, who? Okay, actually, you know what? Let's not even talk about this scene. Why in the world is she deflecting blaster bolts here on Nur of all places? So maybe they did capture. Maybe he jumps in a TIE fighter or something. Well, that's not a TIE fighter.
That'd be green, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I just checked myself on that one. But somebody's shooting her. This doesn't make sense. And then let me just fast forward because these scenes I think are coupled together, which is right here, right?
Yeah, this is definitely in the hangar before they come out.
Yeah.
So these all appear to be Nur because there's all the cloudy background and stuff in the back, and there's the TIE fighters again. Yep.
TIE fighters in the background. Purge troopers are there.
Yeah, and again, they're all taking aim. Someone is in front of them directly.
Yeah.
But yeah, these three scenes, between them coming out, her deflecting, and then them all taking aim at something, there's clearly a sequence there that is out of order, and trying to piece that together is a little bit difficult. But presumably Obi-Wan's wreaking havoc there.
Yeah. I'm going to give Obi-Wan the credit.
But again, why would they be on Nur unless he was captured, right? Or someone was captured, and brought to Nur and they had to get out.
Maybe they captured Ned, and Ned's firing. And there's probably other people too. I mean, we don't know. There could be other freedom fighters or, rebels that he's hooked up with,
maybe
operative cells and that sort of thing. And I don't know. They were captured. I don't know. Okay. Who is he?
All right. So Kumail Nanjiani, right?
Well, yeah, the actor, is what we're looking at now. We knew he was going to be in it.
We did. We kind of thought he was going to be the droid because that's where they've typically shoved comedic actors, right? And not that he's not a dramatic actor as well, but he's usually a pretty lively character in most of his movies. But I don't know. He's certainly dressed like a Jedi on the run.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, definitely on the run. And this is why I think it makes sense and I'm going to guess that this looks like he's got this almost like an industrial look behind him. Like he's against crates or a storage, those outside storage buildings and stuff. Something to that effect. So maybe on Dayu, right, was what I was thinking. And so is this the reason why Obi-Wan goes and he's trying to rescue this guy or save him, or maybe he bumps into him? Or, maybe this is why why they're there in the first place, is really looking for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But again, questions continue to remain of why Obi-Wan would be there if he's throwing them off the scent from Tatooine, or if somebody called him out there, if he just stumbled over this guy.
Yeah, hard to say. I'm with you on the Jedi aspect. It almost looks like he's got a cloak as well, like a hood.
It does. He's terrible at hiding if that's really what he's wearing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. At least Obi-Wan put on some blue clothing and got out of his, garb. But
right,
we don't know where this guy's been either. But I can see him as a Jedi. I'd like to.
And again, if we kind of roll back time, sorry to interrupt. If we roll back time, he kind of looks like he's in his 30s, ish, something like that. So again, he was probably still a Padawan, maybe an early knight when the Purge came out, if he's indeed a Jedi.
Mm. Yeah.
So again, younger Jedi trying to get out and just on the run because they've never been in this type of situation before, and they don't necessarily have all the connections to, to go around the galaxy freely or to have safe houses or anything like that.
I was trying to look in the reflection of his eyes to see if there's anything that give it away. But no, there's nothing there. I'm wondering though too, if this is he's a great actor, and I know he's always wanted to be on Star Wars, and I think he's thrilled the fact that he was on Star Wars. But I almost wonder too if he's going to be a character that gets killed by
Oh
the
yeah,
Inquisitor.
they should have put him in a red shirt because he's not surviving much longer.
Nope. I think he's gonna pass, and either at the hands of the Inquisitors or maybe even Vader. I don't know. We don't know yet where this falls in line in terms of what episode. I've heard that the trailer is really only the first 3 episodes, maybe 2.5 is what I've heard.
That's typical. Yeah, that's
So,
pretty typical.
but it's not uncommon for them to take a scene like this, so small, so insignificant, and just to showcase the actor, right, or the person or the event from one of the later episodes and not give you anything else. And then you're left to be, we become the schmucks that are sitting there trying to go, oh, let's fit this into the first 2 episodes in some way.
Right.
So it could be that. We don't know yet. But nonetheless, this is not him. This next shot here with the little mousy droid, which looks like, if you've ever heard of Dead Mouse, who's like an EDM kind of DJ, this looks like a hat that he would wear.
I thought this was like an ode to Mickey Mouse or something.
Oh, you're such a Disney boy, fanboy.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say this was talked about.
It's super cute though.
It is cute.
It looks more like an Iron Man type of thing, actually.
Yeah, the color scheme and little thing. I don't know what this is. The gloves though are interesting. Like this looks like an Inquisitor type.
I think that's going to be Reva. And again, I
Yeah.
think these are these little spy droids. Harken back to what like Darth Maul had, but on a much sleeker, smaller scale.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that. And again, it looks like it's talking to her of sorts.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe it's a tracker droid or who knows. But they'll sell millions of these things if it talks and chirps and sounds really cute. Of course.
Right. It'll be a Galaxy's Edge here in a little while.
Yep.
Yeah. Now this is the scene where she shouted at him, "You can never escape him," or "You can't escape him."
Yeah.
So clearly Obi-Wan gets away on a transport.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. This is Obi-Wan getting away on Nur. You can tell, or not Nur.
Dayu, yeah.
On Dayu, you can see the neon lights down here at the bottom. So he's getting off and getting away, at least from this planet. And yeah, she's screaming vengeance at him.
Right. And again, why do the Inquisitors not, why doesn't she do something with the Force? Inquisitors are not as strong in the Force as what we're used to with Jedi and Sith. So they do better as a team. And we'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow, but they do better as a team using the Force, kind of like the Knights of Ren are the same way. But they're not necessarily that strong in the Force because they've had their teaching stunted for the most part.
This in the background here, by the way, this looks like that shuttle. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
The one from Return of the Jedi.
From Empire. Yeah.
From Empire.
The first transport is away.
Hooray. Yeah, that one.
It does. Yeah. I'm glad you got that too.
Okay.
I expect nothing.
Was that in the
less.
notes? Did you put that in the notes?
Nope.
Okay, good. All right. Chalk went up for the good guys. Okay, we get
Yeah.
excuse me, but we get the first shot here of Vader being put together.
This is so cool.
We got it in what was it? Rogue One, right? Was it Rogue One?
A little. We've seen
Maybe
it.
it was a deleted scene.
Yeah. We've seen it in the comics a little bit.
True.
And we definitely saw him being semi-assembled in Revenge of the Sith, but nothing quite like this, where he's got like a little coupling system going on and, actually has a droid piecing him together and locking him in place.
This arm is disgusting looking.
That's pretty, yeah.
I mean, he is burnt up. And that
Yeah.
skin, I mean, the skin's regrown, of course, but I mean, you can just see his
Ish.
veins there. I mean, it looks horrible. And then we see another part of that a little bit later. We see like the body of it. Let me just fast forward to that so we can kind of talk about it at the same time. Right here.
Yeah,
Look
you
at
see his
all of
arm.
Yeah, this is disgusting stuff, man. I mean, this poor guy. Like, and you can see. I don't know if this is.
It looks like his ribs or sides exposed too, outside the armor.
I couldn't
which
tell
is
if that
odd.
was like a strap to hold it together, like hold it close to his chest, or if that was actually just part of his body, which would be even more gruesome if that were the case.
Yeah, and what's crazy about this is like the panel looks like it plugs into him.
Yeah, we can swap it out. Got different. I mean, if you look at I'm not a historian when it comes to Vader's panels, his front panels, but there's different types of them over the course. Like there's websites out that have documented all of them. I don't know if they've ever clearly said what each, is this the on button? Is this call for, assistance from a nurse or something? They've never really, to my knowledge, at least in canon, they've never gone through that kind of detail. But he
Right.
does change it up every once in a while, the buttons to move around and all that. So if you look at the course of the original trilogy, including Rogue One, I want to say, no, Rogue One borrowed the one from A New
From A
Hope.
New Hope. Yep.
But yeah, it changed in every one of the movies. And so, of course, because it's Star Wars, someone had to go put a story behind all of that.
Sure.
But this would maybe kind of align with that, where he did have the ability to kind of, customize and modify his suit as he saw fit.
Yeah, and what's interesting about some of the costume differences, they've said the Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber and Vader's helmet, right? They're going to make toys of these with Hasbro. And what they've said in some of the details when you read it is that they are styled after their appearance in this series. So we can expect at least some minor differences. I anticipate Kenobi's being more of it seems a bit shiny still.
It does.
Which is a little surprising because we've seen how weathered it is after the fact, especially in New Hope. But I think, again, with Vader's, that makes more sense because we know he's constantly evolving it. And let's just be honest, he's been taken apart and been put through the ringer a number of times to where he's had to repair his suit and make it more suitable to his needs.
Yeah, we were talking about one today when he got in a little tussle with a Jedi armsman.
Yeah, Kira Confilla.
Yeah, and that guy ripped him to shreds. But okay, so there we go. It's those two scenes of him being assembled. We get more aggressive walking here from the fifth brother, this Imperial agent here. This definitely looks like underwater. So if you're not familiar again with the base, it is partially underwater. Only the peak of it and the hangar part is above water.
Right.
So you can kind of see that in the background. And then we get the, again, unknown, yet to be named sister on the left-hand side here. I don't know what else there is to say about that scene. They seem to be walking with a purpose.
I didn't see anything else in the background, just stormtroopers and officers.
How do you feel about the brothers' appearance? We haven't talked about that. It doesn't bother me, and maybe that's why I didn't bring it up. But I know
It's actually growing on me. I think
there's been some discourse around it.
Yeah, I mean, again, some of that's just actors are going to look a little bit different, but I think the armor and the look, what they did aesthetically, looks fine. I think he's closer. I think he's probably the least problematic one when you compare that with like the Grand Inquisitor, right? I think he fits that mold a lot better than maybe what we've seen with the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
The differences between, the body styles and the head shapes and even the species of sorts, right?
Yep.
So this one I'm totally fine with. I think the design looks great. I think the actor's the perfect build for it. And again, like the costume choices they made here.
Yeah, and to also what we tend to find out, at least what we've seen historically now, in my opinion, for the live action television is once they're on screen and they start moving and talking, a lot of that goes away. We get so caught up in criticizing this from scenes like this, clips, 2-second clips, 3-second clips, and we don't really get to see it all in action. It's kind of like Yoda, right? When they pitched Yoda, no one thought that thing was going to work. And it wasn't until, and you watch the behind the scenes stuff and they all say the same thing. It wasn't until Frank Oz put his hand up in there and started talking and it was part of the scene that it all kind of just came together. So yeah, I know that 13-year-old boy in you's laughing.
He did. Yeah. He came out for a minute.
This was like this shot. I don't even know why they put this shot in there because I think there's a line where they talk about Kenobi or maybe not. Well, I don't remember what
look at the sky. Where is he?
What did I miss it? Oh, on Nur?
It looks like he's on Nur.
Maybe.
Why the hell is he outside just looking around?
He's almost like he's looking down like somebody died. You know what I mean? Like his eyes are coming up from like somebody they just killed. Oh,
maybe so.
See that?
Yeah.
So again, maybe that's where what happens. He gets captured. He gets away. They break him out. I don't know. He's confronted here. Nowhere left to go. Maybe he jumps. Maybe it is like the fugitive. Where he just jumps off into the water down in Ur. The Gungans say.
You heard it here first.
Oh, let's hope not. Okay. We've already talked about these scenes. And then the last scene is
this is foreboding.
Yeah, sitting here, it's excuse me. He's kind of in the shadows, and it almost looks like I guess a couple things. One, the stuff in the background is really throwing me off. To me, this looks like a cargo net of some sort.
Yeah, it looks like some sort of ship.
So I'm wondering if it's the ship here. Like this is him leaving Dayu in this ship right here. You see how big it is and kind of the shape of it? if that is a cargo ship of some sort, and that's the only thing he just jumped on to get out of there as a castaway, if you will, then maybe that's him reflecting on what just happened, or maybe trying to connect with somebody, or determine. I don't know. It's hard to say what he's doing here, but it feels like he is tapping into the Force in some way.
Yeah, maybe he
not. Maybe he's
feels,
just thinking.
and maybe he does feel Vader. Maybe it's the first time they actually. I mean, so the trailer wants you to believe something else, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You have Vader's breathing comes over the sound as he's looking up. It's almost like he's looking up, and it's the first time that he sees or hears Vader himself.
Right.
Which, I mean, is entirely plausible because we don't know. But again, it's that powerful moment of that likelihood or that scenario. We know we're going to get it in some way. That just makes this scene really powerful. And again, it's foreshadowing any which way you look at it. But yeah, is it exactly tied to that scene? Maybe not. He might just be reflecting on how close that was.
Yeah. I couldn't help. I posted today a picture of. I merged this scene together with the one of Luke, who was also hiding in shadows in Return of the Jedi when Vader's taunting him and trying to get him to come out of hiding. Not to say that those things are related, but it just the symbolism, or at least the visuals, reminded me of that, where he's just kind of standing there. So I truly believe he's just on a ship. I don't think Vader's anywhere around him at this point.
Okay,
but yeah, he's definitely thinking about something. And I like the bit of acting that we've got going on here too from Ewan McGregor. He says a lot with his face and doesn't say a single thing.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. So I guess there's one thing that has got a lot of buzz is we still haven't heard Vader's voice.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a concern for you? And if James Earl Jones wasn't to come back, is that a problem for you?
If he wasn't to come back, I guess can I ask a follow-up question? Who would be voicing him? Would it just be somebody that sounds like? Well, it would have to.
I mean,
be.
presumably yes. I don't know who would actually voice him, but
I guess I don't know that I have a problem. Well, here's the thing. Because I know they said we're going to get flashback scenes with Hayden Christensen or let's just say Anakin and Kenobi, then I think it's okay that they bring in Vader to talk. Because, I mean, I don't know what he's going to say other than the stuff that we get at the very end. Whenever he confronts Kenobi, there'll be dialogue there. And there'll be probably dialogue leading up to that where he's talking to Inquisitors, or they're giving him intel or whatever, and he says, "Ready my ship," or whatever. Right. So we'll get that. So I don't know that there's going to be a lot of dialogue. Well, until we get to the very end, I would assume they're going to have some things to say to each other, right?
Right.
So if they couple that with enough flashback scenes where it feels like for Hayden Christensen, I mean, he gets to play Vader. We know that's him in the costume, right?
Right.
And we get the flashback scene, so he gets to have a presence on there. I don't know. Can we get a scene where he goes, Kenobi pulls an Ahsoka and, knocks his helmet off or breaks or cracks it in some way? Maybe he's able to sustain his life a little bit longer now because he's younger-ish, not really, but younger-ish. And he doesn't, there's a moment there where we get to see Hayden in, his baldness and burntness and, talking without the mask. That would be cool. But I think if they're going to do anything with voice as Vader himself in the helmet, I think it's probably going to be James Earl Jones. I don't think that's a slight against Hayden Christensen, but I think you're just going to stay consistent. If it's not James Earl Jones, then I would hope they just get somebody who's going to be close to it, because we've talked about how his voice is starting to really kind of
it changed. He's 91 years old.
Well, yeah, exactly. So right. Give the guy a break. But yeah, you can definitely hear the differences. I think in Rogue One, it kind of was really exposed, and I hadn't really considered that, just how old he was at that point. But it doesn't sound like, when you go back and watch episode 4, and he says, "Commander, tear the ship apart until you found those plans, and I want you bring the droids. I want them alive." That is so, like, he's got so much energy. He's got a very youthful vigor in his voice, and over the years, that's just kind of continued to decline. So they could do that with a voice actor, and they could do it with computer technology or whatever they want to use. But I would expect them in the helmet to sound the same. What do you think?
Yeah, I just didn't. Well, again, it was one of those questions of, have they not showed it to us because they're quote unquote hiding it, or is it more that no, it just hasn't needed to be done, and it doesn't need Vader doesn't need to say anything in these trailers, because it's just his mere presence and the breathing is more than enough, is plenty.
Yeah,
right. And I think it's somewhat more the latter.
I think it's the latter.
And we don't know, but I'm with you. I think it's I have a feeling it's still going to be James Earl Jones, or it's going to be completely synthesized like Luke Skywalker was.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling we're going to get more of the latter than the former.
The the synthesizing of the voice.
I think so. Yeah. And necessarily wouldn't even maybe surprise me if Hayden Christensen did have his voice fused in there a little bit. With what we could do with modulation and everything these days, that who knows what they can actually accomplish. But
yeah,
I think if James Earl Jones doesn't do it or doesn't do any kind of sampling for it, it's definitely going to be pulled from tracks that he's done in the past, of course. But it might just be completely digital, completely synthesized.
Yeah, definitely possibility. So
yeah,
but I don't. I would agree.
What a great trailer, though. Great trailer, I think.
Yeah, no, it was a good to finally get that out. I think at this point, probably safe to say we're going to get TV spots and little bits and pieces of what they do, right? As part of the Disney, hype train that is already taken off as of today officially.
Right. And that's probably another week away before we start getting usually we get to that 10 to 14 day mark, and then all of the locks come off and the TV barrage begins. So,
yeah. And that last 3 or 4 days leading up to the show, people start turning away because they start releasing even more and more that, it feels spoilerish in some ways.
Right. And I guess some of the question is, are they going to start doing these more character pieces, right? So they have one that focuses on a certain character. We've seen this before.
Yeah.
And again, they tend to be very short. Those tend to be 15 to 30 seconds. They're very, very short, 15 to 20 seconds. So it's less of a, it's not super spoilish. But again, you start to get concerned. Some people, think that they're learning too much. But come on. I mean, they've gotten really good at this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've given us any information from what I recall that would have spoiled anything of really note that would have really ruined it. We didn't learn about Luke Skywalker or Grogu, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So the big things tend to still be very much under wraps. And I think that's a great thing. And even with what we learned in the trailers, there's 6 episodes, and I'm with you. I think typically we're just seeing these first 2.5 episodes at most.
All right.
Maybe 1 or 2 things here, but I'm guessing no more than 3 here. So you're talking about half the season left.
Yeah, and I would love for them to make those last 2 episodes, get everybody else out of the picture and really just kind of, not to say focus exclusively on Kenobi and Vader, but it feels like those last 2 episodes really need to be, they need to be the focus in some way, right?
Right.
So get all this stuff out of the way. Let us really sit with them in the last, hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes, whatever that time may be. So that basically we'd be getting like a 2-hour movie, if you will. That's really just about Anakin and Obi-Wan and where they are with their relationship. And that, I think that would be enough to send a lot of people over the edge, or at least get really, emotional, like Lauren.
I almost think that's too much time together.
Like, you think it's too much? Well, I mean, it's not going to be. I mean, I'm being
right.
It's
no right. I like the idea right. I like the idea that they build all this tension up, and then it's a very short scene at the end where it actually all comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes something really super dense, though. And there's a lot to unpack within a small amount of time. Because I don't know that I want them seeing each other more than once.
Right.
Like face to face, facing off.
Yes.
But I think the big question is, though, as these trailers continue to come out, or the little teasers and the spots come out, are they going to show any kind of confrontation between Obi-Wan and Vader? And I think that's the thing, that if they do show something, even if it's just clashing of lightsabers in the background or a flash or something, is that going to excite people, or is that going to upset people? And how will people respond to it? How will we feel about it? I don't know. Part of me is like, well, that'd be potentially super awesome.
Yeah. But
I could also understand that some people might be a little, well, I know it was going to happen, but I just didn't want to see it now, which is kind of a silly excuse if you talk to me. But again, I kind of get it, though. I get it. You want to build up that anticipation, so it just means so much more when you just feel it more whenever you do finally experience it on screen in that final, especially if it's a final moment of the series.
So I'm thinking anybody that's tuned into the show or a Star Wars fan we all know they're going to, there's no one that's going into the series thinking, oh, they're not going to battle each other, right? So
they've already talked about it. So if they don't at this point, that would be disappointing.
Like Kathleen Kennedy called it the rematch of the century, right?
Right.
So we know it's going to happen. I would say that if I'm Disney and I'm really trying to sell this, market it, hype it up, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to show at least, if nothing else, maybe we get like a low shot of Vader's leg standing there, and in the background you can see Kenobi, far off, and all you
Yeah.
see is the lightsaber extending down, right? It kind of comes and covers up the shot or something. And that's all they got to do, right? Just to show you that this is going to happen, and that's enough to whet everybody's appetite. But I don't think anybody's going into the show not I think everybody's going to the show wanting that fight, expecting that fight. And I would agree there are people that don't want to see anything. And to them, I just say, get off social media. I know it sucks.
Yeah, no, that's tough
It's
too.
hard to do, but what else are you going to do? This is a day and age where you can't get away from this stuff. It's going to happen or slip. So
23 days until episode 1
yes,
or chapter 1. What are we going to call these? Are going to be episodes or chapters? That's the real question that we need to answer.
But yeah, it's the
Or
book of
books.
No, I don't know. I have
The
no
book of Obi-Wan.
I think what I saw is episode because they have the first one already queued up, and I want to see the times already out there. Now they say that, but that's not official. That's a leak, and it's a spoiler. So let's not talk about that.
Right.
Okay, so let's. Albert really wants to be a cinematographer. You say that, and that was actually something I wanted to do a long time ago. Ken says, "I hope Obi-Wan wins." We'll see. I think he. I don't think he. Yeah, I think he does. Okay, so that's. We'll speculate on that as we get closer. So for anybody that again is tuned in for the first time, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for everybody returning that's been following the show. Just a shameless plug. As a reminder, again, we'll be out at Celebration in just a few weeks. Do a live show with our friends over at Tarkin's Top Shelf. We're going to be talking about the High Republic. That'll be live on the podcast stage on Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Did I get that right?
Correct.
Okay, so we got that. We've also got tomorrow, we are doing our Inquisitor show where we're going to be talking about the Inquisitors and kind of tying this into Kenobi a little bit. So that'll be tomorrow around 9 p.m. Central. And then, as you would expect, when the show finally comes out, we will be doing full breakdowns of every episode immediately after. I don't know when we're going to do that. I don't think we've talked about that just yet, but it'll be at least within 24 or 48 hours at most that we'll get together, break down the episode.
We'll be at Celebration to do the first couple, probably.
Yes, yeah, for sure. The first two, anyways, we're going to be doing there at Celebration.
Yeah.
So maybe from a hotel room somewhere, or Dunkin' Donuts. We could do that, or we can make it a party.
We have our own live podcast.
Yeah, we could do that.
A lot of people are doing that this time. I've been surprised how many people are doing it.
Well, it's because they didn't. There's only 17 podcast shows, and there's like 8 million Star Wars podcasts. So
yeah,
you can't do it on stage, and go do one somewhere else. That's a cool idea. Okay, anything? Do you want to give shout outs to the mass amount of?
Yeah, we absolutely will. I think one other plug again, Q&A show. We want to do it next Tuesday, so please get your questions in cantinacast.com/question. Again, anything's on the table Star Wars related, so get those over to us as soon as possible. cantinacast.com/question. Again, if you're hearing this on the podcast, we do have a live stream. We had an amazing turnout tonight and lots of great chat. And we invite you, Facebook and YouTube are the easiest ones to go find it, and they have replays of it. So please go check us out. We're at the Cantina Cast on both of those services. And again, shout outs for tonight. Steph, Jonathan, Ken, Tim, Lauren, Risk, Rob, Qui-Gon, Doc, Alex, Twan, Jeff, Matthew, Neil, Richard, and Janora. Thank you. Those are all the ones we could see. There were plenty in the background. Everyone, thank you so much for showing up and for all of the amazing chat. If you want to come talk to us in Discord, earglumedia.com/Discord or cantinacast.com/Discord, whichever one you prefer. Both go to the same place. We'd love to be able to talk with you and have some Kenobi discussions or whatever else is on your mind. So please come out and give us a visit there. Albert and I are always hanging around as well.
Yep. And I'm going to roll credits and thank you to our Patreons who support the show as well. You'll see your name in the Patreon credits. And if you want to join Patreon, you go to what?
cantinacast.com/Patreon.
I asked you because I didn't know. So there you go. Inside.
You were just setting me up.
I was setting you up. Okay. Yeah. We will see you guys in about 24 hours to talk about the Inquisitors.
You're still listening? Wow. That's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.